Hi, I'm Zahabia, and my topic of research is studying the perception of media literacy among 40 to 50-year-old NRI men and women in the UAE. Now, what is media literacy and why is it important? According to the Center for Media Literacy, it is defined as a framework to access, analyze, evaluate, create, and participate with media messages in a variety of forms, from print to video to the internet. So, in simple terms, media essentially is a medium or a platform to provide information to a larger audience. The presence of media is becoming very prominent, on a daily basis. It's part of our day-to-day lives, so we can't really run away from it. And the only way to cope with that is to learn how to navigate our way through these media messages. In the year 2021, in the UAE, the average screen time was 7.4 hours a day. If we're using such a big chunk of our day and we're spending such a big chunk of our day on media, the need for us to be media literate is just increasing by the day. Now, why did I select this topic and this particular target group? I was really intrigued when I was looking at a lot of research papers on media literacy, and I noticed that most of them were targeted towards high school students or college students, but none of it was really targeted towards, let's say, the older generation, when they were the ones that kind of have seen media grow over the years. They were introduced to traditional media and have used traditional media, and now have also used new media like social media and stuff. So making them a really good group to understand what their perception is of media literacy and do they think it's important or not. Along with that, I think it'll be really interesting to find out, since NRIs do make up a big chunk of the residents that live in the UAE. And, going further, I think it would be interesting to understand and find out what the perception of media literacy is with expats, with people of different age groups in the UAE as well. Moving towards literature review, first study that we have is the perception of media literacy in the educational and academic community of Serbia. This was conducted by Ms. Jasmina and Ms. Milika in 2013, and the findings of this research was that media literacy levels are higher in individuals that have a higher level of education. Next, we move to a study which was done on the perceived level of media literacy of preparatory year students in a university setting, conducted by Mr. Akayolu in Turkey in 2019, found that students think positively of media literacy as they think it will help them navigate their way through media better. Then we move to analysis study of factors affecting students' digital literacy competency, which was a study done in 2021 that aims to understand the digital literacy competency and the factors that influence it within students. This study found that critical thinking, communication skills, communicative abilities affect their digital literacy. And finally, we have a study that was done titled Media Literacy Education at the University Level, which was conducted by Mr. Hans Schmidt in the Pennsylvania State University, found that media literacy was addressed in high school more than it was addressed in college, even though students were taking more media-related courses in college. Moving on to the objectives of this study, the objectives of my study is to understand the factors affecting the perception of media literacy among 40 to 50-year-old NRI men and women in the UAE, while also trying to find the time spent and the usage of media by the target group in the UAE. Research methodology for my research was I conducted a survey. I sent out questionnaires to 120 participants, and I got 100 responses, 50 men and 50 women. And here are my findings. First, we have age. So 56 participants were between the age group of 46 to 50, whereas 44 were from the age group of 40 to 45. Gender, as I mentioned, I had 50 men and 50 women. Years residing in the UAE ranged anywhere from lowest of 9 years to highest of 47 years, while an average was seen of around 20 to 25 years. As for screen time, I had 21% participants reported a screen time of above 7 hours, 37 that reported a screen time between 4 to 7 hours, and 42% that reported a screen time of less than 4 hours. Level of education, all the participants had a minimum of a graduate's degree, while a lot of them did also have a postgrad degree. Most common degrees were BA in arts, MBA, BCom, and a few here and there with courses in science. The first question of my survey was, have they heard of the term media literacy? While 50% said they have, 30% said that they may or may not have heard of it, and 20% said that they have not heard of it. 3 questions were part of the Likert scale, and they're as follows. First one was, does media literacy help understand the role of media in our society? 37% strongly agree, 47% agree, and 16% are neutral. The second statement was, media literacy aids in critical thinking, creativity, and ethical values. 50% agree, 24% strongly agree, 24% are neutral, and 2% disagree. The next statement is, will media literacy make way for more woke and involved democratic citizens? 56% agree, 24% are neutral, and 20% strongly agree. My next question was, will media literacy make individuals extra precautious and wary of media, or will it make them well-aware citizens? 14% said it would make them extra precautious. 42% said that it would make them well-aware. 42% also said that it would make them both well-aware and extra precautious, whereas 2% said neither. My next 2 questions were two application questions, which was, first is, a kid aged 10 years old watches Tom and Jerry and is convinced that they can land safely if they jump off a 10-story building holding an umbrella. Here, do you think media literacy is important to be taught, or is parental intervention enough? Here, the findings were 64% of participants believe that both parental intervention and media literacy is important, 18% believe that media literacy is enough, and another 18% believe that parental intervention is enough. The next case is Sally Horner's case. Sally Horner, a 14-year-old student in the UK, committed suicide upon receiving detrimental statements about her on an app where people can send anonymous message to anyone. Upon further investigation, it was found that Sally wrote these statements to herself in hopes that her friend would jump to her defense. Do you think that this could have been avoided if Sally was taught media literacy? For this question, 57% of the participants said yes, 35% said maybe, and 8% said no. Finally, my last question was, should media literacy be taught as a subject in schools? And if yes, then at what age? While 90% thought that media literacy should be taught in schools, 10% believe that it's not required, and the age range selected ranged as low as 8 years to as high as 14 to 15 years. After all of this, the final conclusion of this study is that while all the participants were educated, it was seen that the ones that did have a negative view towards media literacy were part of some sort of commerce course or did anything with finance or commerce or MBA during their college or university level. Participants that held a BA degree had a more positive view towards media literacy and were also able to explain the meaning of media literacy better. While 50% of the participants said that they have heard of the term media literacy, majority of them were unable to accurately define the term media literacy, and it was commonly seen that they believed media literacy was part of a university level course and was part of a formal degree that one can obtain. Finally, it was seen that more participants ranging from the age of 46 to 50 had a more negative or a neutral view towards media literacy, whereas the age group between 40 to 45 had a more positive view towards media literacy. For the case of a kid watching Tom and Jerry, 18% that believed parental intervention is enough claimed that actions shown in cartoons are purely form of light-hearted humor and must not be taken seriously, and hence media literacy here is not important. Participants that believe that Sally Horner's case could not have been avoided even with media literacy believe that Sally Horner's parents should have restricted her use of media, and again believe that media literacy is not really important in this case. Finally, the 10 participants that believe media literacy does not need to be taught in schools believe that media literacy was a very broad and a heavy topic, and maybe school students would not really understand media literacy, hence they thought that media literacy should be taught at the university level. And with that, we reached the end of my research. This was extremely interesting considering I didn't come in with any preconceived notions. I didn't know what to expect from the research. And I was very pleasantly surprised to know that majority of the participants do have a positive view on media literacy and believe that it is important for everybody to be media literate. I hope that going forward, we can make a more media literate generation, and moving forward, we can include media literacy in schools so that everybody knows how to navigate their way through media and can use media to their advantage as opposed to using it detrimentally. Thank you.